Shapes are everywhere. Shapes can be found all around the world. Do you know your shapes? Because I know mine. I love shapes, love my shapes. I love shapes, I know my shapes. I love shapes, I know my shapes. I love shapes, I know my shapes. I love shapes, love my shapes. Hi friends. Today let's talk about the parts of the body. Are you ready? Here we go. Parts of the body, B-O-D-Y. Name the parts of your body you can try. Yeah. Parts of the body, B-O-D-Y.
So I'm here with Dr. Taylor Dee, the colorful and elaborate EDU-Preneur?
EDU-Preneur, you got it right.
Yeah. So first of all, tell us about the name and tell us how you got into this line of profession.
Absolutely. So great question. My name is Taylor, Dr. Taylor professionally now. I started out as an elementary teacher. So I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade and a little bit of K through 2nd grade as well during summer school when I was an elementary public school teacher. And I love everything about teaching, but I transitioned from that when I feel like I was called out of the classroom, to be honest, to just kind of expand my horizon, kind of grow my classroom. I got into training and creating children's books and kids' music. And I started that while teaching by trying to create the solutions that I didn't necessarily see in the schools. And that just kind of led me down a whole path. So that's where the EDU-Preneur came from, because I started out in education, but I winded up an entrepreneur. So we just merged the two together.
Okay. So when you said you left the school system and it arrived you to now, what are some of the things that kind of pushed you away?
Yeah, so like I said, for me, my journey is I really love teaching, but I think what kind of pushed me out was really a calling. I'm very spiritual, so I feel like God was calling me out of the classroom, but simultaneously, I felt like I wasn't using my creative juices enough. I grew up like singing and writing and dancing and all the things I was used to. And when I became a teacher, it became a lot about, preparing children for tests and, very rigid, if you will, especially working in the public school. And although I tried to still make it fun, I just feel like what I was here to do became bigger than the classroom. And so I kind of just took that path on faith without really knowing where I was going to wind up. And it's kind of led me to some pretty cool places. So.
Okay, well, congratulations. That's number one. Passion meets purpose head on. So
right.
Now you have a curriculum focused on pre-K to help prepare the children for kindergarten.
Right.
Number one, why is that so important? Because we don't think about that. That's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. So again, because I came from the mentality of being an elementary school teacher, oftentimes what I would see is that children weren't prepared. So, teaching that 3rd grade pivotal level where kids are going from learning how to read to reading to learn, it was hard. It was a struggle as a teacher because I was working with students where I was trying to teach them new content, but they couldn't read. And right. I feel like, although it was funny that I would speak out of my mouth and say, oh, I would never teach younger than 3rd grade. I would I would always say never, never, never. And God had a different plan for me because I wound up transitioning to work at the level where I saw the biggest issues, which is at that foundation at the preschool level. So
that is insane. So now what is the most important educational piece? Like you said, number one, reading is one of them that's missing from traditional programs.
Right.
That should be part of their learning model in daycares and learning facilities. So what did you incorporate that's so different?
Yeah, so I think for us, my preschool specifically, our mission is unlocking children's natural gifts through play, movement, and the arts. So I think at the foundational level, it's very important that we give children learning-based experiences through play. So we do that, and a lot of programs do that, but I think you have to do it in such a way where the kids are still, moving about the classroom and learning with their bodies and just holistic, all sensory things involved in their learning, I think is important. And then outside of that, the arts, and really just the idea of cultivating what kids are good at a young stage. Again, when I was younger, and it all goes back to like who you were already becoming as you grow older. But, I was cultivated, right? So when I was singing, people would say, yay, you sound good. You're a good singer. And when I was reading at a young age, it's like, yeah, you're reading books and you're younger. All these things that I was getting praised for helped to cultivate me into who I am today, which is why I wanted to create a preschool where we do the same thing and you pay closely attention to children and what to cultivate and help parents, cultivate that as well.
Okay. All right. So now you did a specific thing. You polled pre-K children to see what were some of the things that they liked and disliked. So what did they say to you that helped you create the animated learning curriculum that you have now?
Yeah, so a lot of that came from, again, just being in more so a setting, less of asking the pre-K children, more of seeing what the missing gaps were, right? So working in elementary and then seeing what they necessarily did not know or what they didn't come with, and then creating something that I thought would help to create a bigger foundation.
Okay. Now you have a YouTube channel, like you have so much going on. So tell us about all the attributes that you have.
Yeah. So that's probably one of my favorite, to be honest. It kind of puts all of my love in one. I have a YouTube channel, which was birthed while I was a classroom teacher. I would, again, be teaching a concept and putting things in music because my students couldn't read. And then I came to find that they enjoyed it, and they would be making beats and we would be vibing and having a good time in the classroom. And then I was like, maybe some other teachers need the same thing. So I put it on YouTube and started to get a response from, almost purpose from pain, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, I got to teach these kids, but I don't know how if they can't read. And from that, it evolved into a channel now that has grown to areas where I didn't ever think it would. You start a channel and you hope to get some views or whatever, but it's definitely taken off, and I'm thankful for that. And my goal is to continue to grow it, to help other teachers teach, but also help kids understand that learning can be fun.
Sight words, sight words, sight words, sight words, sight words. Learning sight words can help you read better. Okay, let's learn our sight words all together.
You're coined a coach, mentor, and a teacher. So with all of those things, what talents you bring to the table? Who are you assisting with those talents?
Yep. So I primarily work with educators and then business owners or budding business owners who want to initiate educational-based businesses. And of course, children, right? The students. That's our prime. But those are the three categories of people that I typically work with the most in pretty much everything that I do.
Okay. Now, this is a unique question. Using your program, how do you engage and interact with exceptional children?
Yeah, so that is something that we typically do at Wonder Academy specifically. We always, work with families and get to know families to see if we have the tools and the resources to serve students. Typically, we always say it's a yes until we discover that perhaps our program doesn't meet certain needs, but we always give every child a chance. And that's just kind of our philosophy in serving students with exceptionality. That's a really good question that I typically don't get, but it's important, to serve those students as well.
Thank you. Woo woo. We got one that you didn't get before, girl.
Yes.
So you sing your behind off. So integrating your natural talents for singing and educating.
Yes.
So like you said, it was a passion project, or not just a project, but a necessity that grew into something beautiful. What is your favorite song that you sing to the kids?
Oh my goodness, that's so hard. There's so many. There's like a song with kids. There's a song for literally everything, right? Like you can make up a song about lining up, make up a song about going to the bathroom. I think my favorite song that's pretty versatile though is a song called "Hello Goodbye." It's a song that's kind of like greet kids when they come in, and also a similar song whenever they leave.
You know what song stands out to me, and it's very different. Like all of your songs, like you said, are like tailored to fit what's going on in the Mecklenburg County or public school system, let's say that. But you have one unique song called Paragraphs. So, so what made you come up with that concept?
Yeah, so again, going back to my beloved time in the classroom, it is a difficult concept for children when you're teaching them to write, especially when they're struggling readers, and literacy is just a struggle foundationally. So to put something in a chant when they're trying to learn, or a song or some type of sing-songy pattern, when they're trying to learn the concept, most children, especially a lot of children of color, really like something to be taught to them in a sound that they're already used to listening to, if you will. And so my first initial years were in a very urban school district, and I love taking the sounds of music that I know my students were listening to and then putting what I need to teach them in those songs. And so that's where the Paragraph song came from, because they weren't getting it, right? Like it was they were not completing sentences, and they weren't putting enough sentences or enough detail. And so I was like, you know what? I'm about to just put all this in a song. And as soon as I did that, I would literally see kids over there writing and bobbing their heads and singing and getting it just because I put it in a song. So it's really cool to watch. It's very fulfilling. For sure.
It's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
So, not to mention you like a jazz singer slash educator. Okay. Now tell us about the CDs and how the songs go hand in hand with your amazing YouTube channel.
Yep. So I have 3 children's albums. The first is called Move and Learn. Again, very preschool focused. Songs that get children like literally moving their bodies while also learning. I have one also called Preschool Island. Very similar vibe where the kids are moving, but it's kind of more of like I like Afro beats and like islandy type music too. So that one's more given that type of vibe. And it's so funny to see the little babies like grooving and jamming. It's so hilarious. And then I have one also called Jams for Jesus. So for my Christian babies,
okay,
that is for them, for the little kids that, go to church. It's kind of like church choir songs, if you will. I grew up singing that type of music too. So yeah.
Oh, now tell us about this beautiful book, Preschool Graduation. Who should have that? Should parents or educators have that book?
Yeah, I definitely think both. So it's actually, I released the book about maybe a month or so ago now, right around graduation season, of course, perfect timing. And it's a book to introduce the concept and the milestone of graduation to preschoolers. Again, a lot of projects that I create come from me being in a moment and being like, oh, let me find a resource and going to Google and then not being able to find it. So that's always God's way to tell me like, okay, hello, this is your lane, your opportunity right here. So that's where this book came from, because I wanted to, instead of just saying, hey kids, we're about to graduate. What does that mean to a 3 or 4 year old? You know what I mean? Like graduation, what does that word even mean? Like, and yes, it's a celebration, but what does that even mean? Let's talk about how to, meeting a milestone and what that feels like and why parents are clapping and crying. So just explicitly teaching that concept was really important for me. So I, from that moment, birthed Preschool Graduation. So I would say definitely it's for children, of course, classroom teachers that teach preschool students, but also parents, because in the back of the book, it has 4 pages where parents can track their child's like school milestone journey. So pre-K, 5th grade, 8th grade, and 12th grade. And they can kind of watch their child grow up by putting their pictures in the back of that book.
I love it. So you said that you have businesses and facilities that have this model. Like how many would you say since you launched as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so right now it's just one. I opened up Wonder Academy. A lot of work that I was doing prior to Wonder Academy was a mobile service. I actually had a converted school bus called Tumble Bus South Charlotte that we like decked out the inside and made it basically a mobile classroom. And so that's what kind of got me into the groove of like the early childhood industry coming from the elementary setting. And so I was seeing all these different elementary schools and mostly daycares and preschools. And I was kind of, again, identifying what was missing. And so when I created Wonder Academy, it's more of the philosophy, I guess I should say, more so than the curriculum. But right now that's our one location. And the goal is to grow and have multiple locations. So
you still have the mobile bus?
So I actually sold that. I did sell the bus. Now that I have like the brick and mortar, and my vision is to kind of grow, this consistent brick and mortar facility for different communities. But Lord knows that bus did it for me. That bus gave me the start I needed. And it was really cool just to be on the road and meeting so many kids every single week. It kind of gave me almost like a business journey expedited, because I was going from place to place to place to place to place and just learning and taking in so much so quickly.
Right. Okay. I love it. So congratulations with that brick and mortar, because that is so difficult.
Yes.
An entrepreneur, an educator, because educators are so undervalued. And I also wondered, like, getting into this field, you sing, so you could have been a singer. So what came first? Right.
Yeah. I definitely think, it's funny because I even talk to my mom now and I'm like, tell me about myself when I was a kid. I get to do a lot of speaking now. So it's almost like I'm in this reflective zone of like, who was I? You know what I mean? Like what kind of like, what patterns did you see and stuff? And my mom she literally has the answers. And she said I was the kid that was singing to my class, like, but I was still playing teacher. Right. So it's like, it was already evolving and becoming whatever it was to be. But I think both. Like I grew up in church, like I said, so I was always singing at church, but then I would convert that and be singing to these invisible kids. So it's just like, it was always in me. And when I was little, I vividly remember, how people say, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
I would always say, I want to be a singer and a teacher. I would always say that since I was like 5.
Wow. And you manifested, you did that.
Yeah, it's so funny. It is. It really is so funny to just think back. So yeah.
Well, that's good. So then with that, what you have right now, you're looking to grow it. How can parents reach out to you to enlist your help?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest piece, because my big dream right now is to grow my YouTube channel, right? I want to be well known to teachers and children across the world.
Right.
You think of these big YouTubers. I really want to continue to grow my channel in that way. So I think subscribing to Taylor Dee Kids TV is TaylorDee Kids TV. That's going to be a huge help. And just continue to spike those subscriptions and, support the stuff that I do put out. And then second to that, if anybody's looking for early childhood, early care and learning, Wonder Academy is a facility if people need actually a place, day to day to take their children 6 weeks to 12 years old. We have a summer camp going on right now, about 75 kids for that camp. And yeah, the goal is to duplicate locations. So as people start to see Wonder Academy pop up, feel free to support. And if not, definitely supporting the YouTube channel.
You no longer have to wonder because Dr. Taylor was here first. Period.
Yes. Come on, yes. Play on words with the Wonder Academy.
Yes. So Dr. Taylor, if you could give a timeline for when you purchased the bus, from when you left the CMC,
Right.
purchased the bus, and then purchased your brick and mortar, what was that timeline?
Sure. Yep. So I left the public school classroom. I taught in Chester County and York County, so right across the border in South Carolina.
Okay.
I left the classroom 2017. And so this is what, oh my God, the years be flying by and I got to keep up with the years now. 18, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is year 6. I remember my first day, like hitting the road to start my journey with this bus and 0 clients and $0. June 6th, 2017. So it's been 6 years and here we are. So I'm still trying to keep it pushing.
You just passed your anniversary and you forgot. Who does that?
I know. I'm telling you, like I wake up and the days are flowing, but yeah, you're right. It's literally been 6 years. Wow. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I'm whizzing by, but I just brought it to fruition that it's been 6 years.
Look at God. So now that you're here, or are you here? You're in Charlotte now, or
I am. Yes, I live in Charlotte now. I born and raised in South Carolina. Then I moved not too far, just right up the border, crossing the border. Now I live in Charlotte. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys can reach out to Dr. Taylor about Wonder Academy. What website?
Yep. So Wonder Academy's website is mywonderacademy.com, and then my personal website is Dr. Taylor D with 2 E's DEE.com.
And I'm calling you Dr. Taylor. We done messed up already. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You're totally fine. That's what everybody calls me, Dr. Taylor or Dr. Taylor D. The kids know me as just Taylor D. That's kind of like my little street name for the kids.
Okay.
So yeah, either one works.
Either one works. So thank you so much, Dr. Taylor D. I wish you much success, and we're going to get people engaged with that book, because I do think, even with me, I have a 6-year-old granddaughter.
Yeah.
And she's very intuitive, just highly intelligent, but all kids don't develop the same, like you said.
Right. Absolutely.
Extra. So I love what you have going on. I love your YouTube channel. Like everything is all animated down to I'm like, who did this? It's
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me for an interview too. This is awesome that you have this platform for people. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. So I hope to have you back. When do you have, I know you have apparel. Do you have anything else going on or any engagements?
So right now, a lot of my focus for Taylor Dee Kids TV specifically is just to rev up for the new school year that's up and coming. So I'm doing a lot of back end work with creating new content so that when kids hit the ground running back in school, their teachers can utilize that resource. So kind of doing that. And then summer camp. So that's my big focus, honestly, right now. But as far as back end, I do on my website have, items that people can support to purchase, like books and music, and then a little bit of apparel as well.
And she sings some of her songs on, at least one on that website, y'all. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Queen. I had a blast, and I'll see you next time.